Robert Mailing with the Sioux Empire Podcast, and joining me tonight is Greg Jamison, who is running for Sioux Falls Mayor.
Yes. How are you?
Very good. How are you?
Good.
Good. Greg, before we get started, do you have any kind of opening statement or like a thesis on why you're running for mayor?
Like a disclaimer?
Yeah, there you go.
I would call it
exactly like a disclaimer.
Oh, if I had to say anything, like when I introduce myself to people or a group, I really just generally tell them that I'm a lifetime resident of Sioux Falls. I've lived here all my life, and I've got 2 grown kids, one that's 30, one that's 28. Been married for 32 years. I've had a small business for 23 years. And I was elected to the Sioux Falls City Council in 2008, and then served 8 years. And then in 2016, I ran for the state legislature. And currently I'm a state representative for District 12. And really those are some of my previous experiences in government. My leadership style is pretty open and inclusive, collaborative in nature. In the past, you might have remembered a meeting that I put together with the Minnehaha County Commissioners, Lincoln County Commissioners, and the City Council for the first time ever. Kind of seemed weird that had never happened before.
Yeah.
We got together, and it was really an intent to see what we could do for Sioux Falls, how we collectively could make Sioux Falls better, stop duplicating services, make the experience better for the customer, and save taxpayer money. And a great experience. I hope to kind of continue that collaborative type of approach going forward. My message that I've been telling everybody is smoother roads ahead.
Nice.
So you may have seen a motor grader that I drove through the 4th of July parade.
I did indeed.
Did you see that?
Oh, yeah.
And it's a lot about taking care of our roads and improving traffic flow, but it's also about improving relationships between the city council and the administration and the state of South Dakota, the administration and the Convention and Visitors Bureau, the Chamber of Commerce, all those kinds of things that we can really do a better job and make it smoother. So smoother roads ahead is my message.
Nice. So our first listener question tonight is, what would you do to protect public input?
Yeah, there's a lot of people talking about that. So I wouldn't change anything from the way it is today. So protecting it as a matter of the question is not allowing an ordinance to change. And by that, I guess I wouldn't support it if the council together said, hey, we should change this and put public input maybe to the back, or minimize it to 2 minutes or half a minute or whatever it might be. I would look for it to stay the same. Excuse me. So what I would do, I guess, as mayor would be just to protect as it is and not make any changes.
Very good. What will you do to increase government transparency?
Yeah, there's a lot that can be done. And so as a counselor, I experienced that firsthand on how it felt to not maybe get included in some of the information that was coming forward.
Sure.
For instance, when we announced the prime sponsor for the event center, the way it was kind of done is the counselors knew about it 5 minutes before the press conference. And so then,
that sounds familiar.
Yeah, so we need to stop that kind of thing from happening, including the counselors. So even consider the secret settlement on the event center siting. The mayor had a chance to include the counselors into that settlement, and by that he could have then reassured the public that, hey, all these guys saw it. They thought it was a good idea. We moved ahead. It needs to be confidential for legal reasons, but collectively the public probably would have said, hey, as long as all those guys were in on it, it's probably good. Instead of what happened, it created a lot of doubt and uncertainty and created distrust in the government. We don't want to do that. So part of the concept as well is including the public in the discussion, as well as exposing everything we're doing, the good, bad, and the ugly of it all, because there will be mistakes made by future mayors. I'm assured of it.
Sure.
And the reality is that's just the way it is. Nobody's perfect. So if you share those details, the good, the bad, and the ugly, the public will come to understand you as being just as regular as everybody. And what you share is real and true, and it's their money, the public's money. They have a right to know. One other piece is interesting is the second reading on ordinances. That's when the public has a chance to participate.
Yeah.
In all fairness, that decision at that second reading is oftentimes somewhat made.
Yeah.
As a counselor, I spend a lot of time getting ready for the meeting, researching the topics, understanding what were the good and bad, ups and downs, if I vote yes or no, what's going to happen. But the public comes in at that time, that's their only chance to really weigh in.
Yeah.
And my hope would be to find a new way to do the first and second readings to allow more public input. You can't lose when you have the public engaged. They feel like they're winning because they're a part of the discussion. They're aware of all the information. Pretty soon it gets talked out, worked out, you vote yes or no. So by involving the public more, I think more things will be transparent.
Very good. Now, you can take as long or as short as you want answering this question. We've had a wide range of people's responses to this. Okay. Some people just highlight some goals, and some people go through their whole platform. But
Sure.
What are your goals if elected?
Sure. 3 top things: roads, traffic improvement, and crime. So, not to take all night, but our road systems are in dire need of repair and maintenance. So,
Yeah.
Consider this. We've got great parks in our city. We've got great, clean, available, affordable water. You know, all the things that the city, the sewer system is pretty good. There's been challenges in the past, but we're getting those fixed. The library systems, the library system, everybody enjoys that. They're available and nice and new and all that kind of entertainment venues that we have. Very well done. So the only piece missing, in my mind, as I see it, is our roads. We have more than $1 billion invested in our roads. Nothing else, no other asset that the city has is even close to that. So $1 billion needs a lot of repair and a lot of maintenance, just like your home might need. It's your biggest investment. You'll have to spend more money to maintain it.
Right.
We need to reinvest in our roads. So that's number 1 for me. Traffic improvement. So, well, your studio here, all of your equipment, the high-tech available interactive traffic signals are available to us. We should adapt them and put them all across our city. So no more waiting at a red light when there's no car in sight. You know what I mean?
Yep.
You'll move through town faster. Your quality of life will be improved because you won't be sitting there going, why am I sitting here? There's nobody even close. And you just wait through this timer to go.
Sure.
You'll reduce accidents because you're not stopped, and
Yep.
people will be less likely to plow into the back of you. And so I think it's a great opportunity. They're available, and I intend to do that all across the city. Third is crime. Crime and public safety really are kind of together. We need to support our police officers and give them all the resources and tools that they need. Give them and show them the appreciation. There are police officers, as you know, all of us know, in other parts of the country where they're getting murdered while at work. So now you're the city, and you're trying to hire police officers to come work for you. Well, the perception out there in the country is it's a pretty dangerous place to be. Why would I want to go to work for you? Well, we need to make sure that they're properly compensated. They're shown the appreciation and support from the citizens and the city. And we need to strengthen their workforce, so we've got to hire more officers. My intentions are to start a special crimes unit that goes after the top 10 worst felons in our community, the top most wanted. If we can capture and get the top 10 and just keep working that list and get those guys off the streets, I think we're going to improve our quality of life, protect the values that we have in our community, and at the end of the day, reduce crime, because those guys are the worst of the worst. Next, we need to talk about meth. Meth is ruining our city. It's a cancer. It ruins the individual that's using it. It destroys the family relationships that are there.
Oh, yeah.
It taxes the social services that are trying to help. And it weighs down on our prison system and all those things. So meth, and my approach is to work on prevention, intervention, education, and enforcement. But I'll only go to the detail of the prevention piece. A few weeks ago, actually now it's been a few months, I met with the Sioux Falls school superintendents and asked them what is getting taught in the schools to prevent kids from doing drugs. And they used to teach the DARE program, you remember that?
Yep.
And then they stopped that and switched and went to the I Can program. I can make better decisions. I can say no to drugs. I can say no to bullying, all those kinds of things, making good, solid life decisions. Well, that has stopped being taught for about 5 years. I want to, and the superintendents, agreed that that's the program they would like to be taught and brought back to the school system. So the school system is willing to allow that to happen again, which is a big deal. First, to get any program implemented.
Yeah.
And the city then needs to step up and provide the resources with officers who can come in and teach that program. That's our best hope, is on the prevention side of it. We're taking care of any criminal who shows their face and gets caught. They're going to spend the time, but it's the prevention piece that can help us stop the cycle from occurring again. And so that's kind of a wrap up of my priorities as mayor.
Sure. This one kind of going to harken to that last point you just made, but the next listener question is, other than expanding the police force, what would you do to proactively respond to rising crime? So if you have anything else you wanted to outlay there, or you feel like you...
Yeah, just to highlight really is incorporating that special crimes unit to go after those top 10 most wanted felons and increasing the patrol officers within the city. That'll help all be a part of that.
Perfect. Let's see. How will you ensure that Sioux Falls is a community that welcomes people from all walks of life, LGBTQ, immigrant, refugee, etc.?
Yeah, I mean, we just keep doing what we're doing. I don't think we've got any obstacles in the way today that I know of that are preventing anybody from coming to our community, and or individuals who feel as though they're not welcomed.
And the framing of the question was kind of... how will you continue? Several of them mentioned that they felt like the city was doing a good job, but they just want assurances that it will continue to.
Yeah, so don't look for me to pass any or propose any ordinances that prohibit LGBTs from being a part of any organization or an event. You know, one of the pieces I suppose I could add is the inclusion of others who maybe aren't of my same skin color or gender into decisions that are getting made in the city. So I don't sense there'll be any problem continuing and creating an open atmosphere.
Very good. How will you work to get more living wage jobs in Sioux Falls?
Right. So right now we have two kind of spectrums of wage incomes in the city. One is some of those entry-level jobs, and then those high-end jobs that are created. Our best hope is to generate and create more manufacturing type jobs that fill in that middle gap. And then people can either move through the housing cycle, or from their first home, second home, and keep moving up. That's a healthy economy in our city. But right now, we've got a big donut hole in the middle of it.
Yeah.
So my intentions are, as a state legislator, before I left Pierre, I met with the governor and asked him, what do you need from me? What can I do for you? I'll hopefully be mayor. You'll still be governor for 6 months. What can we do together to make things better in Sioux Falls? And he asked for help in the Economic Development Division. So it wasn't that long ago we had a large cheese manufacturing facility that was being proposed to be built in Foundation Park.
Yeah.
The city put all their cards as best we could on the table to lure them there. The state was doing everything they could do, but the reality is we still lost it. We can't let a big whale like that, they're called, come around and get out of our hands again. We've got to secure that deal. That would have been perfect for South Dakota, but been perfect for Sioux Falls. It would have created all kinds of other industries around it. We can't let that get away from us again. And so my intention as mayor is to ensure that that doesn't happen. I saw it firsthand get away, and I won't let it happen again.
Okay. Let's see. This is the one we were laughing about a little bit before the interview here. This one's a bit, as explained to the viewers, this one's a little bit of a lark on the part of the podcast crew here. But this question is, you're driving down a dark road on a stormy night. You're groggy, your vision is a little blurry, and as you round the corner, you see a squirrel in the middle of the road playing a tiny magic glass flute. Now, do you swerve and take the ditch to miss the squirrel, or do you hit the squirrel?
With those being the only two answers, I would tell you...
People have been very creative with giving themselves a third option, so feel free to be creative.
If there's a squirrel playing a glass flute, he should be smart enough to get out of the way, and I am not taking the ditch. I am going to roll right through and hope that he gets out of the way, or I'll run over him. I'm just not going to take the ditch.
Alrighty.
Hope that's not a weird insight into my personality, but
that's perfect. There's no more to read into that question. Right. It just is what it is.
All right.
Let's see. And then this is the final question that I ask all candidates running for office. Okay. Why specifically should I vote for you over any other candidate running for this office?
I would tell you that I'm ready. Having served 8 years on the city council, 2 years as a state legislator, a business owner here for 23 years, a lifetime resident of Sioux Falls, I'm ready. I understand how the city is funded, how the funding comes from the state and transfers into the city. I understand how ordinances are created, where the power of authority lies with the council and with the administration. I know all of the directors and a lot of the employees. I guess I'm understanding of exactly how the government works, and it's a serious commitment.
Yeah.
And I believe I'm ready. That's really why I'm running. And my family lives here, my kids live here, my extended family lives here. So what happens here is important to them, and it's important to me. When I grew up here, I would call Sioux Falls was like Mayberry. I was one of those kids who could leave in the morning and not come back for most of the day. And my parents, maybe even a day, and they wouldn't even know with 9 of us. But it's grown and changed. Where we're at today was just cornfields, of course.
Yeah.
And, seeing all that happen, it's a great way to be a part of it. It's a great way to serve. Having served on the city council and as a legislator, it's tremendously rewarding. It's humbling. And so it'd be a great privilege to serve as mayor, and I believe I'm ready. And I don't know of any other candidate has as much experience as I do.
Very good. Greg, one last question here. How can people learn more about you and your campaign?
The website's probably the easiest place to go, jamisonformayor.com. And there's all of the issues. Facebook feed is in there, Twitter feed, all that stuff is there. They can call me, email me, all that information is on the website. It's probably the best place to go.
Excellent. Well, thank you very much and good luck.
Thank you, Robert.